Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a Q&A about my labor and delivery. Listen, I've got so many questions just about my experience, about the whole pregnancy journey, but most of all, what happened at the hospital. So in this video, I will actually tell you guys what really happened at the hospital. So the first question I got is, did you have an epidural? Why or why not? So I did not have an epidural. First of all, like I mentioned in my last video, I am terrified of needles, even though I had to take some needles, but something just wasn't sitting right with me about taking a needle in my spine. And as soon as I take that needle, I probably would have moved, flinched, do something. I didn't want to risk having anything messed up. Plus, I wanted to do everything as naturally as possible, and I felt like I gotta take the pain. Next question is, did you pee? No, I did not pee. Well, I don't think I peed, but I did not pee. Did you tail? Now, let's get up close and personal. First of all, I had an episiotomy. An episiotomy is when the doctor just slits your vagina a little to allow the baby's head to come out if she sees that you are going to tail. So they usually cut you just to avoid you tearing naturally too bad, if that makes sense to you. But I did have an episiotomy, and on top of having an episiotomy, I did tail. I did. Now, the other part of this question says, did you feel when you tail? Honestly, I was so out of it. I didn't even know. I did not feel when I tailed. All I knew is afterwards she was stitching something up, and that's how I know that I talked. I know that you bleed a lot. How was adjusting to that and dealing with the baby at the same time being for you? To be honest, this is so hilarious. I bought the pens, guys, because I kept hearing these horror stories about person saying that I'm gonna be bleeding so much, and I honestly didn't bleed, but I felt like it was just a regular period for me. I didn't need the Depends. I didn't even need the overnight pads, like the really long ones. I could have used regular pads. The real issue was my stitches. To be honest, the stitches wasn't really a factor because my baby didn't come home with me. He had stopped breathing a period at the hospital, so they had to transfer him to the NICU, PMH. So he was there for about 4 days, and yeah, he didn't come home with me. That was the longest 4 days of my life, guys. Now, this is the part where I kind of felt I started to feel a little depressed, because I was like, I just had this baby. I'm not going home with my baby. I'm supposed to be going home with my baby in my hands, and that was not the case. And then on top of that, I couldn't really go back and forth to the hospital to see him as much as I would like to, because first of all, I'm in pain, and they had a lot of restrictions about visiting babies in the NICU, because as you know, babies, their immune systems are very weak. There wasn't any visitors allowed at the NICU. I did get to see my baby, not every single day, so that was even more torture to me, because all I could do was call and ask, hey, how's my baby doing, and the nurse will give me an update. So yeah. How long was labor? Labor was about 10.5 hours. So I think we started at like 12ish, and I gave birth to him at 9:38. I'd say roughly about 10, maybe 11, 10 hours. Oh, what? Did your stomach go flat immediately? My stomach did not go flat immediately. My stomach is still not flat. At least, not yet. Can we all see the snap back? Anyways, did you hold the baby right after he came out? I did. As soon as he came out, they rushed him on me. They held him. So I did. The next question is, did they test the baby for corona? Of course they did not test the baby for corona. Like, what? How? No. First of all, I missed mommy and I was tested and I didn't have it. So how we get it if I don't have it? But this person asked, did they spank him when he first come out, or that only happens in movies? No, they did not have to spank him because he cried immediately after he came out. So there was no spanking of my child. This is a good one. Was I able to feel when I was becoming more dilated? No, I didn't. I did not know a thing. That's not something that you can actually feel when you're becoming more dilated. It just happened. Like I said, I was 4 centimeters before I went in to the hospital, and I did not know. My doctor, she literally, when she checked me, she let me know that, hey, you are 2 centimeters, you are 2.5 centimeters, you are 4 centimeters. So the only time I know is when the doctor checked me, and then they would inform you how many centimeters you are dilated. How did your body feel after you had it? Now, I was so exhausted. First of all, the medicine that they had me on basically made me high. So I didn't know what the hell was going on. And then on top of that, I had the episiotomy and I tore. So I had to get stitches. So afterwards, I could have barely walked. I could have barely laid down. Like, in order to sit down, I had to get a children's floaty. I'll insert a photo right here. But I had to get a children's floaty to sit down on, just so that my vagina area doesn't touch any kind of surfaces, because it was just that painful. So that pain lasts for about a week, and it gradually eased off, and I was able to like walk about, I was able to drive, I was able to sit down on my own and stuff like that. So the biggest part was being able to move with my stitches. Laying down was painful. Walking was, I had to walk really slow because I had to take my time, because I didn't want to pop any of the stitches. So I couldn't make any sudden movements. I couldn't like walk too fast. I felt like I still was in the hospital even though I came home, because I was basically bedridden. I couldn't really move around that much. So this person sent a few. So I'll start by answering the first one. Was the experience what I expected? Honestly, no. The experience is not what I had expected at all. I actually thought that it was going to be way worse than it was, pain-wise at least. Like, the contractions felt like bad period cramp. I felt like I bared it, and I think I did a good job at tolerating the pain until my back started burning. Now when my back started burning, it just felt like someone boiled hot water and fling it on my back. But I still felt the period cramps, but then it was like this burning going on my back at the same time, and I wasn't into that back pain. So that's when I got the medicine. So it was not what I expected. I don't know how I expect the pain to feel, but I didn't expect it to feel like period cramp. How did you prepare? Well, I basically prepared by doing lots and lots of research. I prepared by watching other labor and delivery vlogs, because I wanted to get other person's experiences, just so I kind of have an idea of what to expect. I know that everybody's experience is different, so like I said, just to get like a little glimpse of what to expect. Oh, and back to the first question, I also did not expect to get induced, because I wanted to go into labor naturally. So that's also something that I did not expect to happen. Did they let you hold the baby as soon as he came out? If so, how did you feel when they did that? I did get to hold the baby as soon as it came out, and to be honest, y'all, I was so tired. I was so out of it. Like, I'm holding him and I felt good, but at the same time I'm like, kind of dozing off at the same time because of the medicine. So I kind of felt like because of the medicine, I was robbed of that initial, oh my gosh, here's my baby, I'm a new mom, that I guess that gushy, gooey feeling that I'm supposed to, well, I wouldn't say supposed to feel, that I would think I would have felt. I felt like I was robbed of that because of the day. So another question is, did you feel any postpartum depression or anything? I know it's still early, but curious. Praying you don't get that. No, to be honest, I don't feel any postpartum depression. Like you said, it's still early, and I want to speak that I'm not going to have any postpartum depression. Now mind you, sometimes it does feel a bit overwhelming being a new mom that's learning to do different things about the baby, especially when the baby is crying and you just don't know what he's crying for. So sometimes it feels a bit overwhelming, but I wouldn't say that I am depressed. How was the whole experience in regard to the doctors checking in with you? First of all, my doctor, shout out Dr. Pratt again. So she's good, and she checked in with me. Now I had two midwives. Now they were really good. The first midwife I had, she made me feel right at home. Like, she made sure that I was good, settled. Everyone that I came in contact with had very pleasant attitudes. It really made sure that my experience was one that I would remember and one that was enjoyable. They made me feel really, really comfortable. They made me feel safe. Like, I wasn't worried about, to be honest, I was in the hospital, but I wasn't worried about the corona. That's crazy. And I thought that I would have been, but I wasn't. Did they make you wear a mask the whole time? They did make me wear a mask the entire time. To be honest, I was taking that mask on and off because with the contractions, I had to breathe, and I felt like I couldn't breathe the way I wanted to breathe to like help to soothe that pain with the mask on my face. So I was supposed to have it on the entire time, but I basically had it off and on. I definitely did not have that mask on when it was time for me to push. So yeah. Did you have to take the COVID test days before you delivered, or just when France got there? So the original plan was for me to go into natural labor, but because I was going into natural labor, there was no need for me to take a COVID test 2 or 3 days prior. But when baby was taking forever to come and I was already 41 weeks pregnant, I had to get induced. So a few days before, my doctor was like, hey, if nothing happens over the weekend, we're going to schedule you to be induced on Tuesday coming. So because I was scheduled to be induced, scheduled to go into the hospital, I was supposed to take the test 2 to 3 days before. But to be honest, I was delinquent in that because I was so terrified of getting that COVID test off my nose. I just got it at the same time when I got there. What has been the most precious moment for you so far with your baby? My most precious moment so far for me with my baby would definitely be the day I got the call to say, come and get your baby from a NICU, is the most precious and memorable moment for me. And then the day that I actually held him and breastfed him after he came home had to be the most precious moment for me. How has recovery been for you? Now, recovery has been, to be honest, great for me. Now, I've heard horror stories about persons saying that it's gonna burn when I pee. It doesn't burn. It didn't burn when I pee. It still doesn't. Like, peeing was a breeze for me. Now, that first poop, oh my gosh, that first poop was insane. This is too much information, but that first poop was insane, guys. Like, it hurt so bad. I thought I was giving birth all over again. Other than the first poop and the stitches, recovery has been great for me. I mean, I had lots of help. My mommy is around, Franz is around, and he has been doing a good job. Like, we be on shifts, guys, So he'll have him one part of the day and I'll have him the next part of the day, so we allow each other to rest. The question that I've been getting, I've got this question like 5 times. Did you poop? First of all, I don't remember a thing that happened down there, to be honest, like in terms of pooping and peeing and that sort of thing. I asked France, he said that I didn't, so I guess I didn't. And I don't think I did, because before labor starts, before the whole labor process starts, they give you this thing called an enema. An enema is something that, like, this liquid that they insert up your butt just basically to clean you out. It makes you poop. So before the whole labor process starts, anything that was in me came out immediately. Like, they'll tell you to, like, try hold your butt as long as you could, but as soon as that liquid go in, I don't know what that is, but I just feel like I had to run to the bathroom immediately after I felt that liquid inside of me. So yeah. Did you have a birth plan? If so, what was it? I did have a birth plan. My birth plan was really simple. No epidural, no type of vaccine, no type of injections, anything. Like, when my baby is born, I want him placed directly on me, and I didn't want them to cut off the umbilical cord too soon. Like, I wanted to let it sit there for a while, let it stop throbbing, let all the blood stop pumping out first. So that's basically was my birth plan. What medications did they give you and why? So, like I said, I had a birth plan, and the only medication I had on my birth plan was the pethidine. And the pethidine is basically a narcotic that helps take the edge off of the pain. So I didn't get an epidural, but I did got a shot of that. How effective was the medication for pain, contractions, and delivery? Listen, that thing knocked me out. I literally slept through the labor. I did. It put me to sleep, and I didn't even know that I was 9 centimeters dilated. France had to wake me up, and he was like, "Get 9 centimeters, 9 centimeters," and I was just like, huh? Like, I just was totally out of it. And even during, like, pushing, I was dozing off, in and out. Like, they had to, like, keep me sober. So I basically kind of wasn't in my right mind, but it did help with the pain. I didn't feel that burning in my back after that. Would you recommend doing the medication route versus going with the epidural? All pain and fear aside, to be honest, if I could do it naturally without any type of medication, I would have. That's just my personal preference. But because I could take that burning in my back, I would say that I would still do the medication, because although the epidural is good, if you do your research on it, like, the negative side effects definitely outweigh the good side effects. The good thing is you won't feel pain, like, you just will feel the pressure. But there's so many possible negative side effects that could happen because of the epidural. Like, no. What did pushing feel like? Did it feel like pushing poop from the front? Okay, so pushing just felt like you pooping. That's all. They will even tell you push in your butt. I can't even think of another way to push now that I think about it, because at first I was like, how do I even push out a child, like, to come out through my vagina? Like, how do I do that? But you literally push with your butt. Just push like you're using the bathroom, and that'll get the baby out. Another question is, how was pushing the placenta out? To be honest, like I said, I was so out of it. I know I felt I don't think I didn't push the placenta out. I don't remember actually actively pushing it out. I know that I felt when it came out. I don't know if my doctor took it out, but I remember feeling it come out, and it was just this relief, like, oh. Now that's when I didn't feel pregnant anymore, when the placenta came out of me. Okay guys, so that's the end of the video. I just want you to Okay guys, so that's the end of the video, and I just want you to like this, comment, share, subscribe to my channel. Let me know what you think, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.